So I love that we're in this global community now and that those images can help us with that. And I'm thrilled to be talking with you today about how we can have that visual impacts. And so we're going to dive into those AI generated images for presentations, but with a twist today. We're not just talking about making pretty pictures, but we're going to talk about creating visuals that actually connect your audience across cultures. And I chose these images for this first slide because they are actual AI images out there that are famous. The middle one actually won a photo contest. And you probably already have heard about Will Smith eating spaghetti has been video generation to see how well it does, how well the video generation does. And then the Pope wearing this puffy jacket has been all over the place this last year, 2025. So AI images are out there and they're global. So we've heard from some diversity today, which is amazing. And that's exactly why making your images culturally relevant truly matter. And so your presentations reach global stakeholders daily, and those cookie cutter images of people in suits around a conference table, they don't truly reflect the diversity of your teams or your audiences. Okay, so here we have two images. One of them is a stock photo, one of them is AI generated. And we've all been there. We're putting together an important presentation, maybe for executives, maybe for a diverse project team. I know a lot of us are part of project management, and you spend hours searching for stock photo sites for the perfect picture. And you find something that's fine, maybe it's 70% right. Maybe it shows people who look nothing like your actual stakeholders. So over the next 40 minutes, you're going to see how to create exactly the image for your presentation you need, when you need it, customized for your specific audience. And we're going to see live how to iterate based on feedback. And that's really what I want you to take away with you today. Before we dive into presentation tools specifically, let's talk about what's available in the AI image space. And some of you are already familiar with tools like DALL-E. So these are powerful tools. There's free options, paid options, specialized tools. And let's talk about that. So we mentioned DALL-E. That's a perfect example of a free option that's out there for everyone to use. And we have Bing Image Creator. Leonardo AI has been around for a while now. People have been using it for several years. And they have that free tier. Stable Diffusion, also an open source with free platforms. So the paid options, I personally love Midjourney. I know someone who's used Leonardo AI Pro for years. You can get ChatGPT Plus, which brings you DALL-E Plus. Flux is through various platforms, and it's an amazing quality that is in those images. Adobe Firefly, one that I haven't used yet, but it's supposed to be great. The specialized tools can be something like Sora that has originally video generation, but now through ChatGPT, you can generate images. And that's where Misael and I started talking about these images. Magnifique, if you are going to use something and take it that step further, it's because it's going to be advertising. It's not just a prototype for your marketing campaign. It's actually going to be out there in the public space. Magnifique AI photo upscaling or something like that is invaluable. So these are powerful. There's so many tools out there. They're changing all the time, but they require you to generate images separately and then import them. And today we're focusing on tools that integrate image generation directly into your presentation workflow. So I hope that you're ready for that. I'm excited about it. And so we're going to step into the next one. Go ahead, Misael.
Yeah, I mean, we are bombarded by too many tools in AI space, in especially in image generation, and sometimes we get lost. So this is a great picture to show us the ecosystem of AI image generation, and I look forward to see what's coming. So please, everyone, if you have comments, as I mentioned, this is not a standard typical webinar. This is a very interactive session, and you can drop questions or even raise your hand, and you can unmute yourself and comment or ask questions.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to talk about specifically 3 different approaches that we currently have if you're going to be using AI generation, specifically images, for presentation tools. And probably all of you have created content so far, and that's amazing. And then maybe created an AI image in a separate photo tool. But what we're going to talk about now is how to have it integrated within that presentation tool. So we've got 3 different presentation tool options to choose from, and they all have their pros and cons. We've got the traditional design tool, and that has added AI features. It means maximum control, but a lot of manual work. Then we have the template focused tool that uses AI to match your content with professional design. And finally, the AI native tools that can create the entire presentation from a simple prompt. Throughout, we're going to focus on cultural relevance because this is a global community. We have people from all over the world that we're talking to all the time, more and more. And we're going to think about how to prompt these tools to create imagery that actually reflects your diverse teams and global audience. So when we start talking about traditional tools, I'm going to use Canva, which probably most of us have used. I'm actually used Canva for this presentation, and we're going to step out of the presentation mode into the edit mode to talk about it in a moment. Everyone has access to this. It's free. There's a free version that's great. You can also use the paid version. All right, so instead of searching through thousands of stock photos, I'm going to show you how we can generate hopefully exactly what we need. And the pros are pretty obvious here. It's very familiar. You've got that manual control to really specify what you want. You've got tons of templates, but it is an add-on. It's not that integrated. You have a lot of options, so many different templates to choose from, and you've got some generic results that may happen. Okay, so let me step out of this mode. And you're going to see here, we're going to look at the AI image generation, which if you click into elements, you can see right here, AI image generation. And we're going to click generate your own. And then I want to show you a couple of basics with it. You have images, graphics, and videos. You have a text box, so that seems familiar, right? The styles, you can choose from different styles. You can choose square, landscape, or portrait. So some basics, some of the image generation, you've got so many things you can fine tune. This is pretty basic, but hopefully it can dial in better what you're looking for, but do it right here instead of being in another system, downloading and then uploading your picture. So I want us to start first looking at what's the starting point? And I want to really emphasize that you are the starting point. You know, AI shouldn't follow your direction. You shouldn't be following AI. AI should follow you. You're the one directing it. You're the one leading it. So we're balancing our creativity with what's capable in that tool. So it enhances, it doesn't replace our human judgment. Excuse me, let me go back a slide. Okay, so start with the basics we talked about just now: styles, squares, landscape, portrait. We have different options in most of these tools. But then what you're going to start with too is your prompt, your subjects, your style, your setting. You're going to think about what's culturally relevant. So when I created, by the way, everything in this Canva presentation we're looking at, with a very few exceptions, like that first slide, I created here in Canva with this AI image tool.
Okay.
And so when I prompted the one on the right, I said, give me builders building a house in Mexico City, because I know Misael is nearby Mexico City.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
So it actually delivered something that did not look like Seattle. It looks closer to Mexico City in feel, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that's what you can accomplish here. And that you can look at the location, the demographics of your audience, and really fine tune it and test and adjust, and even ask AI for suggestions, not here necessarily, but in ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you're using. So let's look at this example progression. We've got business team meeting, then diverse project team meeting in modern office, then diverse project management team collaborating in Mexico City office environment. So which do we think is best? That last one, because it's dialed in. It's talking specifically about what's happening there. So let's test that prompt right now, that best one. I'm going to just copy and paste it in here. And we can go and choose a style. Does anyone care which style we use? I was using Retrowave earlier, and you can use lots of different fun ones here.
Uh,
Any
I'm not sure if anyone in the okay, Bao says something. Bao says psychedelic.
psychedelic?
Yeah.
Let's choose psychedelic. And
Okay,
then
cool.
if if I'm going to replace this image of a house being built, I'm going to switch it to portrait, because then it's going to be a little closer to what the size we're looking for. And I have, for some reason, it's not letting me generate images. Let me just refresh my screen.
Yeah. I mean, we are live and this is a live demo and sometimes we depends on the tool availability or whatever.
Yep,
Let's
this
give
is
it a try.
why. This is why I had some screenshots earlier. So yeah, for some reason, it's not letting me generate images right now. It's saying
Okay.
no, but that's okay. So maybe I used up all my credits. I see 0 credits left. I did create a lot of images lately for this presentation. So, but how to do it. And then you can always drag over that image, just like when you pick out a stock photo, you can drag it over. But like I said, you can dial it in here so much better.
So before you move on to prompting, and you
Yeah.
may discuss, and you may uh, talk more about that in prompting part, but what it really intrigues me is about the framework, the context that we should use when generating images. So I think it is great to see this framework and the steps we are going to take before we generate an image. So what will be your best recommendation to anyone who is going to having a first approach with AI models and generating images at the very beginning?
So what I started with was I started looking at what other people were doing to give me ideas of how to go about it. And you can do that in most of these tools, even if it's a paid one. And I'm not talking necessarily about Canva, but most of the AI image generation tools, so Sora, Midjourney, Flux, things like that, you can look at other people's photos, what images that they've generated, and look at the prompts they've done.
You're
So
right.
that's a great start for learning. As far as the framework goes, um, it's a lot of iteration. often. So that building on to get closer and closer to what you're looking for. And you're starting out thinking about your audience, thinking about your end result, that storytelling that you're trying to do. And Misael, I know that we talked about you could even reference, this artist that you really like, that you want in the style of. You can upload an image that you like that style, and that can help you. And then ask AI, how would you describe this? How would you describe the style of Leonardo da Vinci, for example? And then use that for your prompt. And, you can be learning through that process. You can say, when I started using pop art, I asked, how would you describe pop art? And then use some of that description and start dialing in, do I want these dots in there and what are they called? And do I want these primary colors and cross hatching and things like that? And play with it and see the results that you get. And each of these tools are going to be a little bit different. So you may end up really preferring one tool just because the way you prompt works really well with it, or what you're trying to do works really well with it.
I love it. So this remind me something that I heard in the past, that this is the beauty of AI, no? That AI teach you how to use AI, right? Excel, PowerPoint, or any other tool does not teach you how to use it. How to
Right.
use PowerPoint does not teach you how to use PowerPoint, or Excel, how to use Excel. But AI really teach you how to use AI to generate images, just like the example you mentioned. So thank you for commenting on that, Anna. Go ahead, please. And if there are more questions, comments, please leave it in the chat or unmute yourself, please.
So the next thing, this is sort of advanced level. So feel free to think about this, try it out on your own, but these are really going to help you dial it in even more. And so you're going to do things like asking AI for ideation, like we just talked about, and really, like you were just saying, Misael, get it to help you to learn, to prompt better. And I read something the other day, and I realized I was doing this already long ago, and I think that was such a huge step, which was get AI to ask you questions. You don't have to be just the one asking AI questions, but ask it to not make assumptions, ask you questions, things like that. And that's perfect for this images. So you can get it to ask you questions back and forth, have a conversation. So, and then you can often dial up the creativity level. They call it chaos, or maybe temperature, or different things in the different tools. And that's going to give you a lot of creative ideas. It's going to spark creativity. The more you know about what you're looking for in the end, if you know specific art terms or aspect ratio, things like that, it's going to help you. You don't have to know that to start with, but that's going to help you. But if you import just an image, like we talked about, that can help you if you don't know all those art terms, right? If you don't know, oh, it's supposed to be on this SLR camera with this lens, which I've seen people prompt with, and it's amazing the results they get. But you could also upload an image of in the style of that same thing. So the biggest thing is iteratively refine it. There are some times where it's been the first image, I say that's perfect, but more often than not, you're going to keep refining it and keep trying to get where you're looking for. And you definitely need to do that for checking the quality and the ethics. Is this actually going to give you the diversity you're looking for your audience? Is it going to be the right colors for that culture? Is it going to represent what you're looking for? So I wanted to mention ownership. So usually with these tools, you don't own your prompt. Other people can take that same exact prompt and generate more images with it. but the image you generate is usually your own. Okay.
Awesome.
So any questions before we dive into the next tool? All right, so the next step, the next option is going to be the template focused ones. And I'm going to switch to Slidesgo in a moment to show you one of these options. I have this picture here of what Slidesgo is going to look like. And we're going to do a live demo with that next tool. And some of these others are going to be similar. So presentation AI, beautiful AI. Slidesgo is free, but it's limited. And that's true for a lot of these free tools, right? So I'm going to actually paste this information into Slidesgo, and we're going to see what it comes up with and play around with it for a moment. But real quick, information on the template-focused ones, where AI is somewhat integrated. It's really high quality, a lot of times, great templates, and you've got this good balance between speed and customizing, because doing this in Canva was pretty slow. And obviously there might be a limit. So the templates, they may already reflect what you're looking for your audience, right? Cultural diversity, things like that. The problem is that you often have limited templates. It's not going to be as flexible, and you may have to play with a lot. I've definitely found that out when trying out Slidesgo. Okay, so we're going to step into there. This is what it looks like. You can see my
This
screen,
is
right? Slidesgo.
Slidesgo tool, right?
Yes.
Is this a paid version or free version?
This is a free version. I
Okay.
believe you get 3 free downloads, and then you have to pay for it afterwards. You can generate things without downloading it,
Okay.
just for maybe idea generation, ideation.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
So if we look at this, you have templates, it's really focused on education. They have tutorials for you to learn. But what's new is there are AI tools. And I imagine as this goes along, more and more may be free. It's going to get even better. So what we have right now is AI Presentation Maker, which we're going to step into. And you have options here. Where it will tell you what to do, and it says here are the different ways you can do it. So this is a landing page that tells you information. We're going to click Get Started, and here's where you can copy and paste into it, or just type whatever you want. You can upload a file, one file, and you can tell it, is it going to be shorter, is it going to be longer, so the number of slides. So I'm going to paste in our slides that we were just looking at, the slide we were just looking at, and then the next 2 slides after that. I found that some of these will turn this into a super long presentation, and so I kind of want to limit what we're going to do with it. So I've already got this copied. I'm going to paste it, and this is my bullet points for the slide. So we see template focused tools, deep dive, the pros and the cons, and then the next 2 slide information. And here I'm sharing some information about what the goal is. Okay. So we're going to click Get Started. And it takes a minute. Everything here takes a little while. So in the meantime, while it's thinking, I'm going to play a short video for you that really has captured my attention on just how powerful AI images can be. Okay. So to me, that was so fun. And we'll go to this next slide and point out that Heinz AI ketchup back in 2022, they asked DALL-E 2 to draw ketchup and consistently got these Heinz bottles. And their goal was to see how well branded they were as ketchup. And so it proved this universal brand recognition across the world, globally, for their specific ketchup. That Heinz equal ketchup to most people. So great business use case.
Yeah, and well, can you go back to the yeah, exactly. So what I see is now is that a lot of industries and especially in marketing, they are using and they're paying a lot of attention, or they're using a lot of AI models to generate images for their campaigns. So it can also, on one side, be marketing, but we are not all in marketing, right? So we can also use our creativity to generate images for our presentations. So uh, let's see your example or the presentation that you will run. But basically, for what I understood, is you just imagine that you have all your ideas, all the text from your presentation into a Word document, and then you upload it to Slidesgo, and the
Mhm.
Slidesgo will generate the presentation for you, right?
Right, right.
Okay,
So
let's see it.
it's going to be these three slides. So we've got template focused tools deep dive,
Okay.
famous AI image generation use case, and then everyday use cases. And I mean for work, we're in business. All right, so we have go back to Slidesgo, and it's generated content. Thankfully, it's only generated 12 slides, but it took my three slides and created a whole bunch of slides, which is okay. That's expected. So it has some extra information because I gave it that background, which is great. And when you're doing a normal presentation, you would want that. You would want this extra information. And then we have prompting techniques, we have famous brand use cases, and then the getting started strategies, I imagine that's how you can use it at work. And then a conclusion. So it's treating it like an entire presentation. And I want to show you at the bottom here, you can regenerate. We're not going to do that right now, but you can change the tone. We can say, make it more concise. So it doesn't give you a lot of options, but it gives you a few options on the content. And it takes a little while. So while it's thinking, we're going to be talking about these other options, these other famous use cases. So you may remember some of these, but Nutella, that was really one of the first AI use cases. It was with an algorithm, and they generated 7 million different bottle wrappings around their Nutella bottles, and they were all completely different. And it sold out in 1 month. It was extremely powerful marketing for them. And it showed that you could do mass customization on this really huge scale that we really hadn't done before. Let's see if we have, okay, so it now is the tone. We've switched back to Slidesgo. It's a little bit more concise. I wouldn't say it's greatly more concise. We still have the same number of slides. That's okay. And then we have images. We can choose basic AI image, or we can use advanced AI styles. Let's click on that. And again, it gives you limited options. So everything in this second subset of presentation tools, it is going to be more limited. But you do have some fun options here. So we have comic, we have anime, there's black and white, and 3D clay, which I didn't even think of as being an option. We have dark and historical. I was thinking about choosing futuristic tech. Dots, what do we want to choose today?
I'm not sure what does the audience says. Do you want to? Do you prefer? Okay, 3D play.
3D.
Yeah,
Awesome.
let's give it a try with
So
that.
this is the 3D one. We're going to click on
Okay.
that. Again, it's going to take, let's see. I don't know if it's going to take a moment here. Okay, we're going to click continue and see what it gets us. So now we have to pick a theme. And this is really just your template. You're not going to get these specific images. You're going to get the template of, is it cut out like this, for example? Does it have this dark background? You can see that there's a bunch of paid versions. So again, this is like kind of a free, it's limited free. But if you're just doing a few presentations, this may be a great option for you. All right, so let's just choose one of these options. Okay, and then we're going to generate the presentation. So it's going to take a moment. I'm going to go back to our Canva presentation and talk about the next two. So we've got Coca-Cola, really great because they had so many people come in and generate these pieces of art. It was 120,000 pieces, and it engaged people to step into their separate AI platform to create Coca-Cola AI images. And then the Nike, I don't know if you heard about that, but it was very storytelling of taking Serena Williams, excuse me, and her younger self against her older self playing together and really identifying like what would that look like. Okay, let's go back
So
to let's go.
I heard about the Heinz story, and based on what you're sharing today, is that we don't need to be designers to generate uh, images that can tell the story, and either in your profession, or if you are marketing, or you want to generate a creative campaign, you just need to have a good interaction, good principles, frameworks, and and talk with the AI to generate the images. And now with Slidesgo, you just paste the information, you refine it, and you will get a beautiful presentation, right?
Yeah, you'll get close. You'll get closer. It'll be that much faster if the template's generated for what you want to do. And then you're going to have to play around with it. And I see
Okay.
that we're getting kind of deep into that hour, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this presentation that we came up with. But you can see that it already has given you 13 slides, and it's a template that you picked out, and the AI images are hopefully what you're looking for. We chose that 3D, and we do see some sort of 3D images that are in there. The issue is that you may have to play with it some. So, for example, I don't see a ton of diversity in here in age, gender, maybe ethnicity as well. That's something to watch out for. And, this one's fun, but I'm not sure what's going on with it. You may not actually want that image in there. And then some of these don't actually have images. And you can see that the text, you're going to have to play with it, break it out, make it look how you want it. But it's just like with ChatGPT when we're writing content or we're using it to create anything. It's a great rough draft. It does heavy lifting for us.
So you don't start from zero, you start from 60, 70% of the work, then you just made some minor changes, no?
Right.
And this takes me to one question that I would like to ask to the audience, if this resonates with you. Have you ever spent more than 10, 15 minutes looking online for the perfect pictures,
Yeah.
but and then for your presentation, but
Yeah.
ended up choosing the single, the simple stock photo that you had in your laptop? If this sounds familiar with you, type yes, or not in the chat, please. I just want, yes, David, yes. Yes. Yes, so this has happened to me looking for images to tell the story for my presentation. But the way you are showing to us, it is pretty awesome. You just need to make some refinement and then maybe you can ask AI to put another image for that specific text or idea, no? And you will get faster. So yeah,
Right.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anna.
Great point, Misael, that the more you play with these tools, the faster you're going to get at them. So the Slidesgo, I'm sure if you were an expert in it, you would be able to get better at the prompting and be able to very quickly change the text just the way you want it.
Do you have other tools for presentation generation with images, just like slides go?
Yeah,
Will you
so
speak later? Will you speak later on, or do
yeah,
you?
that we have Slidesgo, and thank you for pointing that out. I didn't really go over this. We have Slidesgo, Presentation AI, and that's kind of limited. Both of those are limited. And then we have Beautiful AI Pro as a paid version,
Okay,
Simplified Pro, and Pitch.
okay.
And it all, I'm going to say that these are great options. And so this may be what you want to use next, to where you say, I'm going to step away from what I know, which might be Google Slides or PowerPoint or Canva. I'm going to take one step further down that AI path. And this is probably the next step for you then.
Yeah, I use Gamma as well. It is also a pretty straightforward tool, very similar to Slides Go,
Yeah.
and I think it's really amazing how we can get 50, 70% of the work done. I see a message from a comment from Dan. Dan says, I have a rule that I use with generating AI images. The more complex the image, the more context I have to give. Too much
Hmm.
context, and it all becomes gibberish in my audience. What did you say about that?
So I think that that's a decent rule of thumb. I do think it depends on the tool and how broad you want the chaos and creativity, the temperature. Like, do you want the weirdness factor? Do you want to ideate and have it come up with four crazy different examples? Or do you really have a specific thing you're trying to get as your output? So some of it's what you're trying to do with it as well. So when I don't exactly know my specific output, I might have a less more limited, less wordy prompts. And then if I know exactly what my output needs to be, I will definitely do what Dan's suggesting, which is give a lot of information, a lot of detail.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, he says, if I'm presenting to a bunch of Lord of the Rings fans, then I can get a complex as I want. In a corporate board
That,
presentation, I usually keep it simple. I agree with him.
yeah, yes, yeah, that's great. So that's a great example. And I've done some Lord of the Rings, Hobbit rather, prompts, and they turned out great. So that's one wonderful thing about these. They're usually tied in with popular culture because you've scraped the internet. Okay, so we are going to talk about Gamma next and look at that. So just real quick, some use cases. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I'm sure you all have many ideas of what you can use this for. But here's an example in the lower right corner. I actually created these awards, presentation awards that were just made up. They were something fun at the end of our adoption program projects last year. And we had worked so hard. We were trying to do all of our regular work on top of this adoption project. And I wanted to celebrate everything we had done. So I created these AI images and turned them into these awards, fun awards. So that's a creative approach to use it for something for team building, but you can use it for anything. We talked about marketing, but you've got so many different examples. Quarterly business reviews or training content, um, risk visualization. I actually haven't used it for that yet, and I'm interested now in how could I do that. Team photos that reflect actual diversity. So we have lots of business photos we have to do for internal presentations, and they involve teams, and it would be great if it could generate diverse people. So lots of examples.
Awesome. And I also get a comment from Carlos Hernandez. He says we have to adjust to the audience to create connection. It's very clever. I agree with him.
Yes, completely. We
Thank
have
you,
to be thinking
Carlos.
about our audience.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you one trick that I use sometimes that when I don't have any idea how to prompt AI, I Google an image, I Google for an image that I want to, and then once I get the image, I upload it to the ChatGPT, for example, and then I ask ChatGPT, please describe the image to me, and then when I got the description of that image, I ask ChatGPT to adjust it to my context, and then I get a new prompt similar to that image, but now into my context. So it is another a tricky way to generate images as well.
Definitely. Yeah, that's perfect. And that's one point that I had for the end, which you went ahead and talked about, which is using multiple tools to help you with this whole process with creating presentations, impactful presentations and images.
Exactly. Mhm.
So now we're at our third option. We're gonna run through it pretty quick because I know we're running out of time. But this is also your fastest tool. And Misael, you already mentioned Gamma. They have a free tier where you can generate things as long as you're not going to publish it. And then we have Slides AI and Magic Slides. The paid versions, we have a Gamma Pro, Dectopus, Slide Slide Beam AI. I think it's maybe should be Beam anyway. So it's so much faster. That is really great. And you've got the seamless text and image quality. It's really amazing quality that comes out. You do have less manual control, and there may be some bugs. I've heard that some of these early tools had issues, but I'm seeing pretty good results at this point. All right, so we're going to take the next few slides and put it in Gamma.
Anna, excuse me if I
Yes.
may, and I will just like to comment to the audience that since this has been very interactive session, and I, we may exceed the 1 hour slot. So I will say if you can continue. I think that the information and the knowledge and experience that you are sharing with us is very valuable. So if people don't mind, I would like to exceed the hour till you finish with your presentation. Thank you. Okay, people say yes. If you
Okay.
agree with me, please comment yes, and we can get Anna to continue. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Hopefully you're going to get those few minutes, extra minutes will be valuable. So we have a couple of slides here, and I'm going to again back out. And one thing I did is, I'm testing out before the presentation, how does this go? And I did upload, you can choose to upload all of your content. And that's what I did here in Gamma. And it did a great job. It limits to 10 slides, I think, or 8 slides in the free version. So it cut some things out. But it really did this amazing job with making it look super professional. You can see that it's not, you have a present option, and I think you can possibly download it, but you can't publish it.
But
So,
I tested on my side, and I downloaded as a PPT format in PowerPoint, and then
okay.
I did the adjustments in PowerPoint. But I mean, I got pretty much the basic information, templates, style, and everything was pretty much faster. So
It is.
can do
It's
that.
very fast. It's insanely fast. So, and then you can play with it after it's generated the initial draft. So we're going to say create new AI. And here I put in all of my bullet points and it did a great job with it. One thing I like to use it for that I do want to talk about real quick is you can give it a more general prompt and see what it comes up with. And that's for ideation. If you don't know where you want to start, you don't know how to structure things, this can be a really powerful tool to just get you on that right path. And you don't have to necessarily use this tool to do that. So we're going to say generate and then presentation. You've got up to 10 cards that you can choose.
Oh,
And then
okay.
here's a description. So before I uploaded everything, and this time I'm going to just have a more limited prompt, which, so I'm going to say create a presentation about using AI image generation tools for business presentations with global multicultural teams, and go on to tell a little bit more about these different presentation tools, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to say generate outline, and you're going to see just how fast it is. We were stepping away before from Slidesgo because it was very, very slow. And it's thinking more now, I think, because I'm presenting. So it would be even faster if I wasn't presenting. So it already has a 10 card outline in just a few seconds. So you can
Amazing.
always, you can shuffle these, you can do whatever you want here. It's easy to play with it later as well. You can say, I don't like this card, I'm going to delete it. And then you can go into more of your tone, your theme, and tell it a little bit more. So we're going to say, yeah, we're going to choose Stardust. That's what we chose last time. We really liked it. We want to go with concise, maybe minimal. And then the AI images, you have a couple different options. So I'm just going to choose AI images, but they do have stock photos that you can pull instead. We can choose automatic. So they're pulling from multiple things. Maybe they're pulling from the web. Maybe they're pulling from stock photos. We're going to just choose AI, keep it with AI. And then what style do we want? So we chose 3D before. Maybe it's 3D. So 3D images with a punch of color that has global appeal. It could be anything that you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And a couple of options here too. And so some are faster than others. We're going to click generate. There's an advanced mode for even more options. So this last section has so many different ways to customize it. The more you know the tool, again, the better you're going to be at customizing it. But it is just so fast. It gives you results very, very quickly. So if you had a presentation that you needed to put together that same day or for that week, this could be a great option for you.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where 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 I think that you don't need to be a code expert, AI
Yeah,
engineer expert. You just need to have an idea. You just need to have you don't have to be creative, and you just need to have a good communication with the AI to generate this content. And it is amazing how much you can do with a single prompt and the right tool.
right, right. So that was a very limited prompt we gave it. It was just a paragraph. And then we just chose a few selections and it created all of this for us. Again, you're going to want to double check everything. I saw below that we had numbers. I always double check numbers because that makes me nervous. Are these numbers real numbers? But it gave us some great information about, governance and best practices. I saw practical implementation. I like these ideas. Um, business use cases, that's great. Some ones I hadn't thought about, like HR initiatives, team communications. So avoiding biases, I'm so glad that was brought up. And that's what we're going to finish out talking about. And I'm going to go back to our Canva slide deck. So I'm going to go back to present mode. So the pros, I mean, it's pretty clear this is super fast. If you have a good prompt understanding, you're going to be able to do so well in this. It's seamless. I think we already talked about the pros and cons. So let me skip to the next one. Okay, so to finish out, we really can use this so powerfully globally. So it can reflect whoever our audience is. I know we've been talking about it can avoid stereotypes, try to remove those biases and really localize what we're talking, who the audience is for this. Some of the other advantages, it could be in a different language and you can talk about, okay, I don't know anything about my Asian team members, and I want to be sensitive to like color choices for them, for example. What does color mean to them? And so you can talk to ChatGPT or something like that, and then be able to identify what colors you want in your presentation. So lots of different things that we can do here with AI as that support. We can definitely have best practices. So testing it, refining it, research like I just talked about, and think about the ways that you can have multiple versions depending on who your audience is. And just be more inclusive. Think about the other side of who's looking at this. So I really recommend everyone think about, let's do our homework. Why are we using AI? Like that's really the starting point here. Is this going to help me with my story? Is that tool going to be the right tool for what you want to do with it? And then think about, we're starting with ideating and you're going to brainstorm and refine, but your end goal is tell the story with this image. And we talked about that multi-tool strategy where you're going to go to ChatGPT and research. Perplexity or Storm are great research tools. And the more tools you use, the less hallucinations you're going to have, the less false data. So then the AI image generation, creating those visuals. These presentation tools are so powerful because it can be really just seamless, all combined, and improving what that look is, where it's going to be consistent. Okay, so how are you going to get started? I would say think about where you are with AI, how you feel about the AI image generation, where you are with presentation tools, and say, okay, let me take some steps forward from that. So if you are familiar with something like that, maybe you want to jump into that third bracket, or maybe you just want to stay with Canva, but start playing with those AI images. And think about what your investment is for money and your time and what you're willing to put into it. Start with those free tiers if you want. And then next, think about those presentation types. Do you really need to dial it in super well, or can it be much more fast and loose? And it's okay for it to be a lot generated from AI for your first draft. And I would say, like with anything else we're doing, build that library of prompts. If a prompt worked well for you, put it in a Word document and save it and come back to it, use it again. And that's for images just as much as anything else. And test out all these different tools. They all do different things effectively. They're ultimately you're you're creating an image, but they all have their own differences. And you may love one much more than another, or may just work better for you, and you may intuitively understand it better. So try them out. There are new tools coming out all the time. And just, yeah, again, think about your audience. We've talked about that endlessly tonight. And keep iterating and refining in your prompts, just like with not just images, but if you're generating anything else using AI. We're going to check for those biases and make sure that we're really representing our audience and we're using our human judgment. And I think leaving you today, which thank you for being here with me for all of this, but if anything, the takeaway is using your human judgment, using your own human creativity to generate these amazing AI visuals.
Wow, I am shocked. Aplausos, aplausos, applause. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say, but I do see that this is really powerful. And if I may, I'd like to ask a friend who is here in the call. I know Carlos Enrique. I know he's a guy who has been working in airlines industries for a while. And Carlos, I know you had a lot of high stake presentations as the country manager. Uh, and now that you see these tools, what will be your advice to uh, young guys who are, about to present and who can leverage this tool and make really impact to high stake presentations?
Well, thank you, Misael, and thank you, Anna, for the conversation and for the whole team here. Um, I had the opportunity to lead Continental Airlines, United Today, and Delta in Mexico. So it is very impressive, and I really resonate with um, the focus of cultural sensitivity. And I also like the fact that the higher you go up the chain, that keep it simple but to the point. And being graphic is so much powerful because you're tapping into the senses of the visual. And sometimes you don't have to say much just by looking at the graph. It is simply easier to convey the message. So I'm not going to follow your words besides saying the younger guys because I'm just as young as you guys. So
I like
I'm
it.
only 63 today. So, but I will share that keep it simple and cultural sensitivity so that your communication ribbon can go along. And once you connect, once you reach that moment of connection, then you have influence on the people, and then you're driving the bus. If you don't connect, then there's no connection, there's no driving, you cannot convey your idea. So this is very powerful. Don't take it lightly. That will be my comment or suggestion. Don't take it lightly. If you spend a couple more minutes refining that image will do the job for you. Thank you for the word.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, thank you. It's really a good point, and I think that the cultural gaps and stereotypes with AI generated image is also a challenge. So
If you allow me one more comment, I'm taking a course on leadership now. I'm teaching leadership today, and something that is very keen today is to convey the images to the different levels of ages, because what motivates one generation does not does not motivate or does not connect with another generation. And when you have very well studied, a lot of the conflicts today in the work environment is when the younger generations enter the working companies, there's this disconnection. And it's because one is speaking one language and somebody else is understanding another language. through visuals, through this kind of tools, you can align and get your message connection. So very powerful. So thank you very much for the invitation. And Anna, thank you very much for the explanation.
Thank you, Carlos. If the mic is open, if anyone else wants to share any thoughts, this is the great moment to talk. Please. Hi, Bo.
Yeah. And again, great presentation. I did want to ask a question, and I kind of wrote down just to make sure I can get it down. But based on, I know you've been, experimenting and practicing this. That's what I'm looking for. This tool, essentially. But what's been your greatest challenge so far with incorporating generative AI, especially with images and presentations, into your current organization? What's that barrier that you've overcome?
Yeah, so you were talking about in a business sense, right?
Correct.
So personally, I think it's stopping and taking the time to use this tool, because we already have templates at our work that we're supposed to use. We already have a specific look that most people have been using. And it takes realizing, wait a minute, I have something else I can use. I want to try to use it. And it's that mindset shift that really has to take place of saying, and Misael, I know mindset's a big word for you that you've been touching on lately, but if we just go with the status quo, we're not going to use these tools. And that's the biggest hurdle for everyone that I've been talking to. They say, well, how do I use AI for presentations? And maybe we don't even have these tools available at work, and we have to use what's our presentation slide options are. And we have to say, okay, well, I don't have an image generation at work. Can I use it at least at home and then bring it in? So it's going to be what your workplace allows, and it's going to be you yourself saying, I want to push and use this tool.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. And I like the idea. You got to push those boundaries sometimes. Show them the potential, the return on investment.
Right. Yeah.
Bring new ideas in. Thank you.
And you know what? In that sense, I have seen some concerns from some companies about copyrights and ownerships of an image incorporate text, no? So
yeah, that's a hot topic. And to me, this should help with that. It should help get away from those copyright issues that you might have, because if you're using an image from the internet, what is the copyright? You have to double check it. If you're using stock photos, you have to pay into that service. But here, you don't have to do that. You don't have to worry who has it copyrighted, because you're the owner of it. And you don't have to worry about, okay, these people, they've all signed a waiver that they're going to be out there if I'm using it in a presentation somewhere.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Already, so I think that we're almost done for this session. Before I end up with the closing part, any other question from the audience? Okay, so let me just do the closing part very quick. 1 second. Okay, because I don't want to lose this part. I want to make sure that yeah, okay. So I hope you see my screen, and here is the connect with Anna. Anna, I know most of you know her, but for those who doesn't know her, and I know people will be watching this recorded session on YouTube, you can connect with Anna on LinkedIn. She's working on AI stuff, and a lot of surprises are coming. Anna will, I know she's very engaged with AI, so stay tuned and connect with Anna. Anna, do you want to say something to those people that will be watching this video on my YouTube channel?
Yes, I'm so happy that someone has watched this whole video on YouTube. That's amazing. Good job. And yeah, Misael and I are posting all the time on LinkedIn about this topic. Please follow us.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you, Anna. It's been really great to have great interactions, great conversation with you. And I invite people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be sharing on my LinkedIn and social media the link for the YouTube. You can watch that at a later time. And if you want to dig more into this topic, connect with Anna. She's the expert. And also, if you have a story to share, you are very welcome to connect with me, and we can have another session in the future. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you again. Have a great one.
Buenas
Thank
noches.
you,
Muchas
Anna.
gracias también.
Thank you.
Gracias. Bye bye. Thank you.